This is one of those stories that people ignore until it hits their life directly. Right now in Washington, D.C., there's a bill on the table that would force millions of Americans, including people living abroad, people with foreign-born parents, and even entrepreneurs with global plans, to choose one citizenship and forfeit the other. Not sometime in the distant future, but within 1 year of the law passing. And if you don't choose on time, then Uncle Sam can actually choose for you, and the government could essentially treat that as you voluntarily abandoning your U.S. citizenship. And the worst part? Most Americans don't even realize how many ordinary situations create dual citizenships. For example, being born abroad, having a parent from another country, applying for residency that automatically converts to nationality, or even some marriage paths that could lead to dual citizenship. This bill says no more. If you're American, then you are only American. And if you're not prepared when something like this actually moves, then you don't get a do-over. Hi, I'm Justin Keltner from Entrepreneur Expat. We help freedom-minded professionals and entrepreneurs build global lives without sacrificing comfort, income, or security. Today we're breaking down what this new exclusive Citizenship Act actually says, why it matters for anyone wanting optionality abroad, and what you should be doing now and not later. If you're interested in topics like that, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell right now so you don't forget and that you don't miss any content coming out. We've got multiple videos every single week, even through the holidays, coming out on this channel about how to build your life abroad, how to move your business, your family, and everything else to another country, and how to figure out visas and taxes and everything else along the way. Definitely subscribe to this channel, and you can also check out something really cool that we're offering for free right below this video for a limited time, which is our Move Abroad checklist. In that checklist, you can find details about every single thing you need to know in order to make sure you're ready to actually move abroad. So let's talk about some context for this bill. Senator Bernie Moreno, a Republican from Ohio, just introduced this new Exclusive Citizenship Act in 2025. His stated goal was to end dual citizenship and require Americans to pledge sole and exclusive allegiance to the U.S. The current U.S. law allows dual citizenship without penalty, but this bill would reverse that entirely. If passed, Americans with dual citizenship get a 12-month countdown. Renounce the foreign one, or you're seen as relinquishing your U.S. one. Millions of Americans abroad, especially entrepreneurs and families with mixed backgrounds, could be affected. Now, here's how this bill actually works. If you already have dual citizenship, then you must renounce the foreign one within 1 year. If you gain a foreign citizenship later, you automatically lose your U.S. citizenship. Children born abroad to dual national parents could lose their U.S. citizenship unless a parent renounces the other nationality. The government would rely on immigration, tax, and passport data to actually enforce this, even though there's currently no centralized dual citizen registry as of today. This bill really treats citizenship like a monogamous contract, and if you, quote, cheat on the U.S. with another passport, then the U.S. breaks up with you. Pretty toxic if you ask me. Here's a little bit of a saving grace, although I wouldn't take it for too much quite yet, but there's a good chance that this doesn't pass, which obviously is in our favor. So you should know that there have been Supreme Court rulings, for example, Afroyim versus Rusk and Terrazas. The U.S., based on those things, cannot just strip citizenship without proof of intent. This bill tries to force that intent by declaring that inaction equals intent to relinquish citizenship, but that is a legal stretch that is almost guaranteed to be challenged. But here's what a lot of people miss. Whether this is constitutional or not, and whether this bill is going to pass or not, just the uncertainty alone can really push people into rushed decisions. I think it's meant, partially, of course, as a grandstand, partially as a scare tactic. Americans might do things like panic and renounce their second citizenship if they're abroad. Or people planning to relocate may scrap their plans entirely. Entrepreneurs who are building companies internationally may lose the flexibility they need to operate globally if they were depending on something like a citizenship, if they're thinking, well, now maybe I really can't count on this thing. Now, this isn't a legal argument. It's an identity argument. It's a stability argument, and it's also a freedom argument. We should not be told by the U.S. that if we don't swear allegiance only to the U.S., that somehow we are less than and don't deserve to be U.S. citizens. That makes no sense at all. Here are some things you can do right now if you're considering international mobility. First, get clear on your current citizenship status. You may be a dual national and not even know it. If you're pursuing residency abroad, understand whether it leads to automatic citizenship, and put a relocation plan on paper before the U.S. starts tightening other freedoms around mobility. The way I look at this is that freedom really has a clock. You really want to be building your future while the window is still open, because who knows? Maybe with everything going on in the U.S. right now, maybe we're going to end up giving up our citizenships, or maybe you're in a similar position where you're like, hey, I'm already on track to citizenship 2 or 3 or 4. You're stacking your passport portfolio like a lot of our clients are. And by the way, if you are interested in learning more about how to build a global citizenship portfolio, you can visit entrepreneurexpat.com/consult, and we could talk to you about some of the ways that you can actually do that. We specialize in helping high net worth individuals with $1 million or more in assets build their global life of freedom. So a lot of our clients are stacking those second, third, and fourth passports, and we think that once we get to our third or fourth, maybe we would even consider renouncing. So it's kind of like, on one hand, something like this is a bad thing. Of course, I don't agree with this plan. On the other hand, perhaps it's something that will push you into action. That even includes building global banking, building income streams, building residency options early, because things like that are a lot harder to build under pressure, and you really do want to get all of these things on lock before the clock starts ticking down even more. And things like this in the US and other authoritarian measures between the US and Canada and other Western nations are exactly why more Americans and other nationalities are looking at Mexico, Europe, especially places like Central and Eastern Europe, as well as Southeast Asia. In Mexico, for example, a residency gives you mobility without citizenship necessarily, which is a safer path if laws like this start getting traction. In Europe, long-term stays let you build a base without forcing nationality. And globally, more countries are offering residency by investment pathways that preserve your flexibility. A global plan really gives you leverage, and it protects your lifestyle from whatever policies your home country experiments with next. This bill may not pass. It may be challenged. It may die quietly on the House floor, which would be great, but the trend is absolutely unmistakable, and we've been saying this on this channel for years now. Governments everywhere are tightening control, and the US is becoming one of the hardest countries in the world to leave, both legally and financially. So if you want a life with optionality, you can't build it later. You must build it now. And if you're looking to do that, first grab our free Entrepreneur Expat Move Abroad checklist below this video or at entrepreneurexpat.com/abroad. And if you're ready to take that next step to move you, your family, and even your business to another country, figuring out all of the issues with tax and legality and visas and immigration and everything else along the way, just like many of our 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneur clients, then go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like video. It helps us out a ton in our goal of reaching 1 million entrepreneur expats and aspiring expats. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and we're going to see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.